Hello, everybody. Hey, welcome to our regular Sunday live streams. And boy, do I have a story to tell you about this weekend. Anyway, but first, I'm gonna tell you some more about my process on working on a new song on the new album Obsidian. And I hope you guys are all having a great weekend. We were hoping to go out in the woods today. Hopefully, we can still do that because my lock broke. So I'm stuck at home until it's fixed, but no worries. I'm sure we can get it all done. And then I'll be going out into the woods to make some awesome drumming, spirit drumming videos for you. So we can get everything ready that I wanted to do today. So actually this week I wanted to explore something that I've been doing before, like drumming with my feet and playing the violin at the same time. So that's pretty cool. I love doing that. I love multitasking because it's like activating all the different parts of my brain and creativity and stuff like that. So it's really cool. And if you guys can see and hear me okay, please send a thumbs up. Okay, just comment thumbs up or send some emoji and say, hey, just so I know everything's great. YouTube has changed the way that I preset my live streams like just a couple weeks ago, so I hope everything's good, everybody's great. Anyway, why don't we start by something that I like to do as sort of creative exploration, to just jam with a drone to explore some ideas for a new song, right? So I am writing a new song. I'm writing a shaman song. It's called a shaman actually because it's going to address the, this kind of lifestyle where you're in tune with the nature, you're connected with yourself. Well, through the vibration of sound and creating music, you are connecting with your environment more. And more than that, I also believe that we're not really creating anything new, that we're just tapping into that energy within us already. Hey, Byron. Hey, Robert. Thanks for watching, guys. So we're tapping into that energy which already exists. We might not have known about it before, but through music, through creative process, what we call a creative process, we're not really inventing anything new. We're just sort of discovering what's been there all along. So I'm a huge believer in eternal time, eternal life, meaning that everything is never ending. There is no end to the cycle. It's just our brain works this way, that we try like to break things into cycles, but it's not really like that. It's a much bigger picture than that. So I feel like music does that definitely. It's a great representation of what our lives and universe and creation are. Hey Jerry, thanks for watching. Hey Freddie. Oh, we got lots of people today. Sorry, I'm a bit late again because my lock is stuck. Literally, my lock in my front door does not turn. We're gonna try to fix it today. So if we can fix it today, we're gonna go in the woods and then I'll send you some more awesome videos after that. If we don't fix it today, then I'll have to film my videos next week. That's okay. That happens. But you never know. Whatever's done, it actually happens for a reason, right? So it's going to be great either way. Meanwhile, I want to start with some improv. So as I said before, I believe that whatever we create is actually something we just discover. So instead of creating something new, we're actually serving as a channel for these things to speak to us. And then we put them into something coherent and present them to everyone else. So yay! Hey, Luke. Thank you. Thank you so much. So why don't we start with some improv on a D drone? Here we go. So that was just some random improv. Well, random. I mean, if you believe in randomization, it was just some improv on a D drone. Okay. So speaking of random, some composers have tried to take themselves out of the equation, which is, I think it's impossible because for anything to actually happen, you still have to be yourself. You still have to be present. You might be very minor presence, like, just randomly picking rocks on a beach and writing a piece about it, like John Cage did. Or, oh, thank you, Will. Or just like some composers are the opposite. They're very controlling about every note of their process. For me personally, I've done both, and I feel like each process has its place in creating something. So when I go out to the woods or grab my drum or just improv on something, I try to be as free as I can. But I also find that my mindset, my trained mindset of a performer, of a musician, does come in play, and I start thinking more cautiously about what I'm doing. But I purposely try not to do that when I'm exploring fresh ideas, so that it just hits me, sort of something interesting happens, and then I'll be like, oh, hey, that was really cool. I want to use that in a song. So there are different sides to this, of course. Like sometimes I like to very thoroughly think through every note and write it out. Like if I'm writing something for an orchestra or a chamber group or people who are going to play it live. But when I'm creating my tracks, I'm creating my album, I would say it's both. It's a little bit of both. But my main goal with these improvisations and with spirit drumming too is to just tap into the raw, untapped energy and explore it and find it and pick something really cool about it that I love and just put it in a new song, a new piece, and, just explore something for sure for myself. So that always feels great. It always feels amazing to try to forget about everything you've learned. Try to forget about all the other logical choices you make and just go with the flow, go with the feeling, go with the vibration. And the funny thing is when people do that, I find they actually arrive at this frequency that most of our planet vibrates at this frequency, which is what my drum is tuned to. It's tuned to 432 hertz instead of 440 for the A, for the concert A. It's not a concert A, it's a different A. It's something that you would say people kind of explored in the Baroque time, like in the 1500s, 1600s. There was no steady A. Like there still isn't a steady A. In Europe, orchestras like to play much higher tune. In North America, I think we try to stay closer to 440 or maybe even lower if it's a Baroque symphony or something like that. So if it's a Baroque chamber group, and Tafelmusik music plays tuned to a lower A, like sort of 432 as well, I believe. Yeah, they're very close to it. So there is a reason behind it. So the reason that people used to tune that way, it's because it's believed that our vibration of the planet matches that frequency, which I agree, because when I'm experiencing that, I'm actually feeling something. So tell me, guys, if it does make you feel something. So when I'm playing my spirit drum, notice next time how it's not tuned to the concert A. It's tuned a little bit lower. So try to sing that note, that A. Try to match it, right? And be like, how is that different? What does it do for you? I'd love to hear your experience. So that's what spirit drumming is for me. It's exploring new ideas. It's tapping into the untapped, undiscovered potential that I've had as, in me or in the universe, or anything I heard, anything that inspired me, things like that, right? So somebody asked me, like, why do I do the spirit drumming? That's why, right? And by all means, my violin is my first instrument, so that's not really gonna change. It's already my instrument. I'm experienced violinist and performing artist, but adding these interesting instruments, especially Eastern culture that I love the most, is one of my favorite things to do, to just discover the undiscovered. Yet, if there is anything to discover, because I do believe nothing is new under the sun. I believe everything exists. We're just, sort of discovering it for ourselves step by step. So that's why I do spirit drumming. If you guys have any questions, do type them up here or send me a message or email me. I'll be sending replays soon. So if you're in my email tribe, you'll be getting all of this. You'll be getting all the notifications. You will never miss anything. Meanwhile, here is one of my shamanistic songs that I'm going to do a shamanistic Ukrainian video for soon. And by the way, my awesome super 7-string Viper is going to arrive in September. I can't wait. So that's probably when we're going to shoot it. Well, it still looks warm and kind of summer-like. But yeah, so I'm going to have my Viper because I want it to be in the video. I love it so much. I want it to be featured. So here is Kolomika, you guys. Enjoy. So here's our Kalamika, which is Ukrainian song, which is based on my heritage, my culture, the traditions that we would have. Kalamika is a round dance. So kolo is a circle, so it's like a circular dance that you do together with your friends and stuff like that. And I remember this very vivid image from my childhood, how young people would jump over fire, and that would be like their sort of kind of like a rite of passage if you're not afraid to jump over fire, like sort of thing, right? I don't quite recall why they did it, but I'll be happy to do more research. To me, I think it represents just maturing and just, stepping over to the next stage of your life kind of thing. So I would love to feature fire in our video. 4 dancers. We're gonna have a dance group, and there will be some interesting elements, I promise. I can't disclose everything just yet because we're still planning it, so I don't want to give things away in case we're not actually going to use them, but there will be fire. So fire for sure, because I feel like everything I create has to sort of conclude with fire, and that's why the next album that I'm writing is titled Obsidian. You know how there's a reference to it in Game of Thrones? So obsidian is this dark glass that they find to, kill the zombies, to kill the walkers, the White Walkers. So that's it. That's what obsidian. So it's like my testament to how I like the darker side of me, right? So the darker side of my music, you will hear stories that are much darker, and the lyrics in the songs will be much darker. They will be very much, supportive to the human rights, to the freedom, to breaking free from oppression. Actually, my first song is an instrumental. My second song is titled Obsidian, and it's inspired by Persian motifs. Which I love because I played in the Persian band for like 10 years. I also played in a gypsy band, in the Eastern European, Ukrainian, Slovakian, Hungarian, Romanian gypsy band for about 10 years. So this is like my kind of music. And the more I explore different cultural music, I find the more similarities with it. So my Ukrainian folk tunes are very similar to something of a Persian, of a Georgian, of Turkish, of we're actually about to play a wedding for Armenian wedding. There we go. Those are really fun. Their music is amazing. And I was learning so much music for it, including popular songs that they asked us to do. And then I'm like, hey, the Armenian songs are actually the easiest to learn because they're so familiar to my ear. It's very similar to the stuff I've been doing most of my life and career so far. So yes, and the third song on the album is coming together. It's going to be called The Shaman, and it will be referencing some of the native issues that we have. Basically, how the land has been stolen from people who live here. And it's an ongoing issue. There's constant, misunderstandings and mistreatments, and unfortunately. So I want this next album to sort of be the voice, to speak for all the human rights movements that we're going through today in our world as humanity, and in my support of it. Right? Because I'm Ukrainian. I know what it's like to fight for your freedom. In our history, our people have always fought for independence from different nations, like including Russia. So yeah, like I understand what it's like to have the need to, free yourselves and stand up for your independence. And now that we are independent, we are an independent country, we have our freedom and autonomy. I feel like it is our job to help our brothers and sisters across the world to gain that autonomy as well. So this album is going to be speaking for all of those voices that have been silenced for centuries. And I hope you guys enjoy it because I'm enjoying writing it. It's like, I know it sounds political, but it's not. It's very personal. It's sort of me coming up into my own freedoms and expressing that in my Obsidian album. So there will be a lot of darkness. There'll be expression of pain and anger and confusion that has followed all the oppressions, right? And while we're also coming into our strength, and sort of fire is cleansing. So every song is going to have some element of fire because that's how you make obsidian, right? You burn it, you burn it, and it turns into this dark sort of charcoal glass, sort of, I don't know. And I remember actually when I was little, we would always make a little fireplace at my grandma's yard, and when it burns down, some of the rocks wouldn't burn down, or they would just char and turn this black, and I would grab it and I'd be like, oh, that's really interesting, you know, like you could draw with it. I think that's what kind of close to obsidian, how close it is, right? So hey, Will says, I'm Scottish, it is William Wallace Day, my people have been wanting freedom for hundreds of years. Yay! Wow, amazing. So it's a holiday, I guess. Go for it. Yeah. That's awesome. So happy William Wallace Day to you. I'm glad we're talking about this. So I do have one more song in store for you guys, and I hope you enjoy my new music. It's coming. It's coming. If you'd like to be a closer part of the process and watch my behind scenes in the recording studio, my behind scenes in the music video production, my behind scenes of creating my concert series that are coming to you in just a few weeks. We are testing equipment right now, and we will launch a series of concerts online, not just like this, so it won't look like my studio. It's actually going to look like I'm on the stage or I'm on the field, wherever we shot the video. It's going to look amazing, I promise, because Jacob's helping me with this, and he's really great at that. So I'm going to have help with those. And I will let you guys know as soon as I have the date in mind, okay? So those will be a separate event. Those will be like, you have to gain your access personally, and I will send you a link and you'll be able to watch them. That sounds really cool to me. I love it. I love giving you more. And yeah, so if you'd like to be a part of our process behind scenes, you have to become a Patreon. So at patreon.com/Vera Burmenko, this is how you can support me. For even as low as $3 a month, we'll get you access to behind scenes footage. If you want to do more, there's different things that you can do to actually support us more. And if you guys don't want to do any financial support, the best you can do is share the link, right? Share my Patreon link with your friends who like this kind of music, who like shamanistic, native, warrior themed, meditative, transcendental, and of course metal. Yeah, gypsy and metal. I feel like I'm putting fire and ice together. So gypsy is fire. Like all the Eastern European stuff is fire to me. Metal is cold, right? It's ice. So there you go, fire and ice. Well, what do you know? George Martin is always great. So that's why I think my album was inspired by the Song of Ice and Fire, and AKA Game of Thrones, right? So there's always that element of hot and cold. Yeah. And I think that's what makes our music great. It's the contrast. It's the, huge jumps between hot and cold, dark and light, anger and peace and things like that. So active fight versus transcendental meditation. So to me, all those things are part of the same, one of the same. So once you tap into your inner self, into your higher self, deeper self, you do understand that everything we're experiencing as human beings in our living life is actually meaningful. Everything has a purpose, which is why I don't think anything's random. I think it all has a purpose. And basically, to me, this is relieving. It's a relief to know that whatever I do will still get me to the right path. Right? So if you guys are with me, let me know what you think about that. Also, I think some of you might have asked me about my book. So I have a book published. It's on my site. It's veraburmenko.com/book. It's called My Key to Immortality, where I actually talk about these things more thoroughly. Like, it's a whole book, 300 something pages of me writing about my ideology of life and everything that I believe in with music, and kind of unifying the science and music into sort of a common goal. So I think we all have a common goal. No matter what discipline you're in, we are still artists of our kind. So there we go. Okay, why don't we do one more song? And then I'm going to let you guys go, and I'm going to try to go fix my lock. My mom and my fiance went to get this like lubricant, you can spray it and see if it works. Because somebody a while ago told us that these locks need to be sprayed every once a year. So I hope we get it fixed, because I really would love to go out in the woods and shoot an awesome video for you guys, because it makes me feel better. So one of the reasons I do spirit drumming, and I want to thank Spirit Drums at 432.com. That's their website, spiritdrums432.com. Mark and Melody for creating these amazing instruments, for being so in tune with nature, and for giving us an opportunity, us musicians or people in general, to tap into these vibrations that are truly healing, mending, and it's my mental health. Honestly, this drum has helped me tap into my mental health during the times where I have driven myself crazy beyond point of being aware of it. So thank you guys. This is what it does for me. It kind of just sets my brain into the vibration of chill and more deeper, meaningful meditation. So meaningful process, mindful process, right? And it doesn't mean that you have to do a lot. Oftentimes, it just means observing the process and being more present. So tell me, guys, in the comments below, what do you do to be more present? What do you do to be more in tune with yourself and your surrounding? Some of you told me you go hiking. Some of you told me you go walking. Those are great. I love those. So for me, it's nature and the vibration of sound, the nature sounds, my drum, and everything like that, right? So why don't we go ahead and do another song that I personally love so much because it was inspired by the Mongolian throat singing, and especially was inspired by Who, the Who band. Who. So by Who's Wolf Totem. Many of you ask me if I listen to them. Yes, I listen to them and I love them, and actually 2 of my songs were inspired by them. At least. And next album is probably going to be way more. Like this next one I'm writing, Shaman, it's definitely inspired by The Who. So here we go, guys. Enjoy. So, we have Elizabeth saying, I like to go out at night and look at the sky with my dogs. Yes, I love dogs, by the way. And we do have 2 huge dogs in the woods with my fiance's family. So that's what we are hoping to go see today. And Bill, thank you. Thank you for all the love. Luke says, listening to music and kind of music from around the world. All right. Any kind of music. That's awesome. That's great. Yeah, I find it's for a different mood, for different place I'm in, physically, also psychologically, and with my health. I want to listen to different things. And funny enough, too, most of my songs on my album are either written in key of D or in key of E. It's type of a mix of modes in it, too, but there's a tonal center on D or E. Usually somewhere. Yeah. And I actually can relate to the reasons behind why it is so. I've talked to Mark and Melody and asked them, what does D mean? So D basically represents like your sexual energy, this part of your, yeah, that chakra. And that completely speaks to me because I do have a lot of that in my music and my energy all together. So I feel like that chakra is very prominent when I'm creating music. But also E. E is more like my stomach and digestion. So, and I know why that, because as soon as I started working on this album and I got this really busy job that I'm still doing, which I love, but it's getting busy. So I started having problems with my stomach because I wouldn't have enough time to eat, or I would be nervous that I wouldn't have enough time to eat. Even when I bring treats to work or lunches, it's still not enough because like I spend 6 to 7 hours at school. And by the time I come home, it's like 10 or 11 and I'm exhausted and I'm just starving. So it's a long time for me when I'm with people, when I'm giving energy, when I'm exchanging a lot of energy with them, with my students, who I, by the way, love working with. But I'm exchanging a lot of energy with them. So that exhausts me. That just makes me starve. I always have to have some treats. So I started bringing treats. I started bringing nuts. Nuts are great. Some crackers, some plain, treats that I can just chew all day and not, feel overpowered by them. Nuts are the best because they actually give you nutrients, like they make you feel full. I'd drink lots of water and tea. I also discovered something recently during this quarantine while I was teaching online. Hemp seed. It kind of looks like milk. It's white, but it's really good for you and it makes you feel full. So I can drink a glass and I'll be fine for like 4 hours. That's amazing. So I recommend it. Hemp seed. Hemp is actually the same plant that you make the weed out of, but you make the weed out of the leaves. I don't want to smoke anything. I don't like smoking, but the seed itself, it has a different purpose. It actually has a purpose of like being a remedy, right? So it's really good for you apparently. And so thank you guys for listening. Thanks for tuning in. I feel like I'm blabbering a lot just because I really want to get this log fixed and move on with our day, with our weekend, so we get to go in the woods and see everybody that we want to see today. So I hope you have an amazing Sunday. Do tell me, write to me, what do you do to be more in tune with yourself and be more connected with yourself? I'll be so happy to hear from you about that. And have an amazing week. Bye. All right, what do we do here now? Here we go. Where's my recorder device? Whew. Bye, YouTube.